Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel Gamers Explain. I'm going to explain Far Cry 3. So don't waste your time, let's start. You're a wealthy heir on an isolated island. The attractive tribal leader desires to ally with you. Are you interested? This is Far of Desert Island 3's tale. Affluent heirs vacation on an island with Jason and his friends, crediting their fathers and black cards for their sea adventures after inebriation and cliff diving, what urged their risky plays. They flew their jet, opened it mid-air to feel the rush of free falling. But then they found themselves in pirate land, staring at the pirate boss's scar on their screens. Pondering, Jason learns to be vigilant. A fried chicken shop owner's talk is cut short by frenzied fans. It seems they plan to leverage Jason for a hefty ransom from his dad. Without his veteran brother, they might have ended up like the contents of traded cases. When escaping, a bullet hits his brother's neck. It's Vaas, the lunatic, who spares Jason to savor the thrill of the hunt and watches panic in the forest. Crossing the bridge feels like nirvana, but a pirate's helicopter suddenly appeared, and the swept-up suspension bridge threw Jason out and crashed into the rapids of the canyon. I don't know how long it was boiling water and drifting. Just before Jason passed out, he saw a hand covered in tattoos, gripping him forcefully. When he wakes up, Jason sees a man named Dennis tattooing himself. Dennis said that he recognized Jason's true identity, and it was this tattoo that helped Jason recognize himself. Turns out Dennis is a fellow American. After falling to a desert island, I joined a local indigenous tribe. How cool was it to stay? These native girls have good figures, right? I can let whoever I want to do. But in Dennis' eyes, they are not, because his flesh and soul are tied up by that woman. Dennis didn't name the woman, except that he would help Jason rescue her friends. Then there was a Ubisoft ancestral climb, open his vision. Jason hunted on the island, collected herbs, and made medicines in his angry backpack. Jason also found a tattoo called Warrior's Way on his arm, unlocked a skill for himself. Every skill he learned would automatically generate a tattoo. On the call, they learn of American captives in a nearby camp, prompting immediate action. Jason realizes his true ferocity during his warrior encounter. The intensity was incredible. I almost cried when watching my brother see pirate shrimp, but now I act faster and more accurately than him. Unfortunately, there are no captives in the camp. The radio said the Americans fled west. Jason quickly went to the doctor's house and found that even though the doctor seemed dazed, he had indeed taken an American girl. Jason rushed upstairs and saw that it was his brother's girlfriend. His sister-in-law, the doctor, high on plant extracts, mistook his sister-in-law for his daughter, and his sister-in-law played along, hoping Jason would rescue everyone. Later, they regrouped at the doctor's house, and Dennis asked Jason to invade the communication room of a stranded ship, listen to clues about the pirates' movements. Van's voice yelled over the radio, claiming he would sell the hostages as slaves after getting the ransom. They were held in a camp in the bay, but upon rushing in, Jason realized it was a trap set by Van. When he woke up, he saw his friends and his girlfriend Liza. Van, in a frenzy, doused him with gasoline and pulled out a lighter. He asked who gave Jason his tattoos and said that his mentor was Van's sister. Did she think having a tattoo made her like him? Van turned out to be a local native, deeply in love with his tribe, and even more so with his sister. His first kill was for her, but it never seemed enough. They always forced him to choose between them and his sister. This question gnawed at him like a poisonous insect burrowing through his skull daily, seeking answers. Eventually, it drove him to madness, causing him to defect and become a pirate. He asked Jason, "Do you know how painful it is to leave the ones who love us?" He shoved a lighter into Jason's pocket. He ignited the gasoline and had his men take the friends away, leaving Jason and Liza to watch each other while the flames grew. Fortunately, Jason escaped and fled the fire with his beloved girlfriend. He hid her in a cave beneath the doctor's house. They were thrilled when they saw each other 2 weeks later. His sister-in-law found an old boat which they could repair to escape this murderous island. Jason comforted Liza, who had been an aspiring actress, but missed her audition due to the kidnapping, telling her not to worry, because once they returned, "I will have my father sponsor you to join a troupe." He asked Liza to help his sister-in-law repair the boat while he continued to rescue others. How could he single-handedly fight the pirate army? Dennis wanted to show him real power. The indigenous chief Tess-Eater, who stayed on the island, promised that if Jason gave everything to her, he would achieve the warrior's ultimate wisdom. But the indigenous chief who knew the end, Hetera, was also the sister whom Bercy loved deeply. Seeing Jason grow more and more tattoos, Hetera became interested and said that he would help him as long as he passed the test. Jason drank the herbs he handed him, and the flower in front of him entered an illusion. A man in a white suit guided him to the ruins of Chinese buildings and found a Chinese dragon-patterned sword. When he woke up, Dennis clattered and tattooed again. He told Jason that his test was to find this mysterious ancient knife, and found a man in the white suit in the slum. The other party's real identity is CIA agent Willis. It turns out that Vance is just like him, but he looks very practical, and he is also a wage earner. The real One Piece King is Hoyt, who has built a huge empire of anger in the South Pacific and manipulated the priceless plant extract business. Uncle Sam sent Willis to the desert island to do only two things: destroy Hoyt's ship, and burn Hoyt's field. No way. Jason could only blow up the oil barrel in the vigorous song. Set fire to Yeti, lifted the RPG, and blew up the crop carrier. Willis was also very loyal and gave it to Jason after it was done. Hoyt, who suffered heavy losses, scalded Vance and sent someone to the yoga factory to transfer the meat tickets. Jason hurriedly threw a shot to save his friend and took him back to the cave under the doctor's house. When Jason was about to continue to save people, Lisa showed him the cross he made for Jason's brother. He couldn't figure out what happened to Jason. He ran around excitedly with weapons on his back every day. Don't you feel sad in your heart? Are these broken tattoos of ghost charms messing with your mind? However, Jason, the former little milk dog, pushed Lisa away after stepping into the way of Warrior. He felt that he was in charge of his own destiny for the first time. This feeling was much better than falling in love, and he decided to go on. Jason found a killer named Buck. He bought a friend of Jason from a pirate. If he wanted to save him, he simply exchanged this antique. Jason looked at it. Good fellow, isn't this the knife he saw in the illusion? It turns out that this is a treasure left by Young-Hoo during his voyages to the west. Buck to Jason, after taking a history lesson. The Japanese army also wanted to find Young-Hoo's treasure in World War II, relying on this huge ancient heritage to fund their war of aggression. But the Japanese army, who built a bunch of stupid bunkers, never expected that it was useless to dig, and had to rely on ancient Oriental wisdom to locate the mysterious treasure spot. So what is Oriental wisdom? Jason at Pirate. A strange compass base was found on a freighter where pirates were smuggling cultural relics, and the dial of the compass was found in an underground ruin of the Ming Dynasty. When they were combined, the compass gave off a strange light. Only the magic of this legendary spell of Kanyu can indicate the location of the treasure. Buck was speechless about the historical level of the rich second generation and said directly to Jason Kopp, "Do you know how much wealth Xingyi's treasure ship brought to the Ming Dynasty?" "Let me tell you this," a captain under Zhang, he named Lin Kong, quietly left the fleet. It was with the wealth of his ship that he built a small empire in the South Pacific and dominated one side. Yes, this small country is located on a desert island where they live, but Lin Kong, who enslaved the natives, may be too stingy. He spent a lot of money to build spiritual aura and buried all the remaining wealth with him, which led to the decline of the small country and disappearance into history. And this compass is a key to unlock Lin Kong's underground palace. Jason finally found Lin Kong's sarcophagus, although there is no legendary treasure around the withered bones. Then the bone knife was indeed buried by Lin Kong. Jason brought it to Buck as agreed and found a friend who had been frightened out of his heart. But what did Buck do to him? Why are you so scared? Looking back, Buck took off his pants, were only a pair of underpants, and came down. He opened his mouth and said, "Your friend looks like you." Jason didn't want to be beaten by the nurse because of incontinence when he got old. So he grabbed the knife and stabbed it directly into Buck's chest. He rescued his friend from this demon and returned to the doctor's cave. My friend repeatedly begged Jason not to tell anyone about him. Jason said, "Don't worry, when Jason's brother is rescued, everyone can go home." When my friend heard this, he said with regret, "Your brother is dead and he was shot by pirates because he ran away." Jason was furious and he cursed fiercely in his heart. Vans and Hoyt Rice found his strangeness and said, "What's wrong with you? We can help you." I didn't expect it to be pushed away by Jason. "Shut up, woman. There's no such thing as us. It's me, and I'm going to kill them myself for revenge." Lisa was scared and could only say, "If you need my help, I'm always there." But at this moment, Jason didn't listen. He turned around and rushed out of the cave and ran to Satara's temple. The knife that was stained with the blood of his ancestors when Lin Kong slaughtered the natives, which proved that Lin Kong had been exposed. The tribe's blood revenge has been avenged, so congratulate Jason on completing the test. When he brought him to the depths of the temple, he saw that Hetera had long lost her previous love and ignored him, and she was shy like a plum blossom half-bud, hidden package, delicate as welcoming spring green, graceful flowers, and jade hands year after year. Willow is soft, deeply black. Dur shares ancient tribal tales with Jason of a tattooed northern warrior who traveled afar, walked the path in a lotus pond, severed a giant head which fell into the sea, forming an island beneath them. Believing Jason, whose tattoos flourish freely, is a warrior destined to save the tribe. Jason, highly praised, instantly agrees to rescue the tribe's captive for him. The drug transport truck opened yet again, another encounter with Vaas. During this meeting, Vaas gives Jason a lecture on insanity. It's about performing identical actions repeatedly and yet expecting different outcomes. Each time he escorts someone to their demise, they plead for mercy. "Jason, could you offer something novel to confirm that his end was imminent?" Hans kicked Jason, tied to a stone, overboard. After surviving against all odds, Vaas captured him a fourth time. He was satisfied. Facing Vaas's gun, Jason didn't plead. He stared straight into his eyes and the shot fired. Guess what? Jason didn't die. Hurriedly arriving, Dennis saw Jason rise from a pile of corpses. Was it resurrecting power? No, it was a lighter Vaas tried to burn him, and Lisa with earlier. The lighter concealed in Jason's possession was his saving grace. Having made his way back to the sanctuary, prophecy of saving the tribe has been realized. Now to confirm Jason's status as a mythical hero, he must conquer the Colossus. After consuming a potion from Citra, he re-enters the dream state, confronts the mammoth adversary, but overcomes it with his explosive projectiles. as he dashes up the Titan's limb. He manages to be beheaded. Subsequently, Citra looks to extend his bloodline, as foretold by the myths, the other 9 witnessing with subtle nods of recognition. Agony was on display. An abundant microcrystal surged with a flavor of mania. Heartbeats echoed one after the other as the entire tribe prostrated themselves, swearing fealty to Jason in the presence of the chief, who had now taken an oath to lead them in expelling all Corsairs. Braving it solo, he infiltrated Vaas' stronghold only to be apprehended. Hun's base was ambushed with that bloodstained knife. In a trance, Jason once again fell into a hallucination, reliving that insane night. Is he becoming Vance, or just repeating what Vance did? Vance mocked Jason, saying the tropical warmth and humidity couldn't make him a true warrior. Jason kept slaying the attacking illusions repeatedly, while Vance roared in anger. I entered your soul. Accept me as your salvation. Hang me on the cross and let me be reborn. But Jason used Arya's move against the Night King and stabbed an ancient dagger deep into Vance's chest. Yet the victorious Jason said, upon waking, Citra had saved him, but Vance's voice still echoed, wanting to make him a warrior. They both lamented their tragic fates. Jason spoke without sorrow for his brother's death, promising Citra he'd stay after sending off his friends. On leaving the temple, Jason met Dennis, who had once hoped to become a warrior, but lacked the strength, now fully resigned. He had nowhere to go but bless true warrior Jason. For the rest of his life, he would serve Citra devotedly. Jason bid farewell to his friends and Liza. Liza had always imagined Jason growing up, but when he finally did, he left her behind. Liza realized it was too late to hold on, reluctantly let go. Meanwhile, a mission in Russia had gone awry, and Willis needed to meet the 141 task force. He dropped Jason off at Hoyt's base in South Island, where Willis's undercover agent, Sam, was stationed. Sam proposed that Jason should confront Vance, but Hoyt's mercenaries were much tougher than pirates. Going in blind was not an option. Thankfully, Hoyt only knew Jason by his tattoo and not by his face. Sam advised Jason to find a lone rookie at the docks, steal his uniform and identity, and infiltrate the camp. Hoyt, who announced to the new recruits that they were now family, didn't recognize Jason, but he did warn the recruits not to mess with his money, threatening to burn their stash on the spot if they did. After the pain, all the natives fell to their knees and vowed to lead them to expel all pirates to Jason, who had just surrendered to Jason, who had just watched him go to clouds and reign with the chief and became a tribal warrior. He immediately broke through Vance's lair alone, only to be attacked by him with a knife stained with native blood. In a trance, Jason fell into the illusion again. The crazy scene of that night in front of him was not known whether he became Fancy or himself, but nothing more than repeating what Fancy had done. He laughed at the warmth and humidity of Jason's tropical weather. Can't change you into a real warrior. Jason killed the illusion over and over again, and Vance roared, let me enter your heart, accept me as your salvation, hang me on the cross, and let me be born again. However, Jason used Arya's move against the Night King to stab the antique knife into Fancy's chest. But what Jason, who defeated the enemy, said was true. When he woke up, he had been saved by Hetera, but Vance's voice whispered in his ear, he wants you to be a warrior, and we are really miserable. Jason Hetera is not sad about Dee Dee's death, Jason said. When I send my friends away, I will stay with you. When he left the temple, Jason met Dennis. Originally, he had thought that he could enter the warrior path, but unfortunately, he didn't have the strength now that he had completely accepted his fate. He had nowhere to go. He wishes the true warrior Jason all the best while the rest of his own life, all will be loyal servants of Hetera. Jason came to say goodbye to his friends and Lisa. Lisa had thought countless times that the childish Jason could be as mature as an adult, but he just never thought. Now that Jason is really mature, he will abandon himself and it won't help to keep him. Lisa can only choose to let go of her former lover. At this time, there was a mess on the Russian side, and Willis was going to meet Task Force 141. He conveniently sent Jason to Whitslayer, South Island, and found the undercover bald man Sam, who Willis planted here. Sam heard about Jason killing Vance, but Hoyt's mercenaries are much more difficult to deal with than pirates, and hard blindness definitely won't work. Fortunately, Hoyt only knew Jason had tattoos, but he didn't know what he looked like, so Sam suggests that Jason go to the dock recruit barracks to find a lone, unlucky guy and steal his long-sleeve uniform and identity. From the last trial, I Am Yours, once again sending Jason on the path of a warrior, but on the burning path of the natives' noble women, Jason saw Lisa cursing like a demon. Warrior, I think you only dare to sneak attack Van from behind. Saying that, she burned his bone knife, cursing that these tattoos were curses that made him insane, turning into flames and charging up, burning down like the giant he saw before standing at the end, shouting to destroy everything. It's the voice of Itala again. The voice calling, Jason, great warrior, you are ready? Jason stepped forward, took back the blood-soaked and hateful treasure knife, and saw Lisa's tearful eyes in the knife's reflection. Realizing Vance was right, there was indeed a choice he had to make, to save the companions or join Hetera. If Jason chose the latter, Lisa would be killed without hesitation, and what Jason would see when he opened his eyes again would be a long scene under the shining, holy light. Jason planted a seed, drip it, drop, drop. The next second, Hetera's knife suddenly pierced him. Good guy. Blood vessel is opened as blood and vessel in a parallel universe. Jason quickly chose another option. He saved his friends regardless of Hetera's puzzle roars. The remaining you will become a legend. The returning you will just be a married, settled, aging waste. How could you not know how to choose? At this moment, Dennis also rushed over and scolded Jason for being ungrateful. Hitera saved your life, and you want to betray his love? Saying that he swung the knife. But this time, Hitera blocked it in front of Jason. In his dying moments, Hitera told Jason one last time that he loved him. At this moment, we knew that he really loved Jason, and he really wanted to kill Jason. See you soon next time. Hope you enjoy.